Hey guys. I wanted to make this video because it was a subject that came up today with a friend of mine on while I was chit-chatting on the phone with him. And I thought it was a good idea for a video. So bear with me, because in the moment when I'm discussing stuff with somebody, and I've got somebody to bounce stuff off of, I'm a little more clearly focused. When I'm just ranting like I'm going to probably for the next 10 minutes or 9 minutes and 30 seconds. It's a little more ranty, I guess. I don't even know the word that I'm looking for at this point. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you a story. Most of my friends, when I say that, they go, "Oh no, great, here comes the story," So, but I'm gonna tell you a story, and the thing you need to know is, as a kid, I wanted to be a truck driver. Okay, this was a dream job for me. I learned how to draw like the front end of a Peterbilt on a piece of paper. I could do the nose and the cab and the headlights on either side and the wheels on the bottom, all that stuff, and it would look like it was coming at you, and the stacks with smoke rolling out of it, and a trailer behind it, and all that other stuff. I learned how to do that at some point in junior high, and drew it a ton. And I didn't have anybody in my family that was a truck driver. I had an uncle who was a car salesman and a banker and a teacher, or eventually. I had one that was a grocery store manager. My mother was a music major. My aunt was a hairdresser. There was nobody. My own dad was he stocked groceries at Kroger, and he was his dream was to be a professional bowler, and he almost made it. Got real close at one time. That's just another story for another time. But there was nobody in my family that was into cars like I'm into cars. There was nobody in my family that was into transportation like I'm into transportation. My granny, I think, was into trains, and at least public transportation, because she and I would go downtown and just ride buses, and we would go ride trains when trains showed up. And I remember for my 16th birthday, she wanted to, or my 14th birthday, she wanted to take the whole family, including me, to go ride the Dark Light Rail as soon as it opened. But other than that, there wasn't anybody that was really there wasn't anybody that was a truck driver. I had a friend that had, uncles that drove trucks, but they lived in Oklahoma. There was nobody around. So when I got old enough to work, I went to the truck stop in town. We lived in a little town called Red Oak, about 10 miles north of Waxahachie. And when we moved in, there were 3,000 people there. And there was a truck stop, still there. It's called the Knox Truck Stop, out on the highway. And when I got old enough to work, I went there looking for a job, because I wanted to be a truck driver. That was my dream. That was what I was going to do. And so I got a job making sandwiches at the Subway at that truck stop. And I remember this one night, I'm in there and I'm making sandwiches, or afternoon or something. This guy walks in, older white guy walks in, and he's sitting there and he's telling me how to make a sandwich and everything. I said, "So you're a truck driver?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm a truck driver." I said, "Oh, that's so cool." And he goes, "Really? You think it's cool?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to be a truck driver one day. I want to drive the big rigs just like you, And he goes, "Really?" And he said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "If I ever see you out here, I'm going to kick your ass." I was like, "But I want to drive a truck like you." And he goes, "This is no job for a kid like you." And then he gave me the spiel. Go to school, get a job, build and make a family, stay at home, don't come out here and do this. But he literally said, "If I ever see you out here, I'm going to kick your ass." And to this day, being out here, I always wonder if if I'm going to get a tap on the shoulder someday and I'm going to turn around, the guy's going to go, "Oh, you an ass kicking." And it's not happened, obviously, but I wonder if that's ever going to happen. I think it would be funny if it did. But I when I was a kid, I romanticized truck driving. How cool was it to get up every day somewhere different? You weren't at home. You were in Virginia, like I'm in Virginia now. You were in Colorado. You were in Pennsylvania. You were in Florida. You were in Washington State. You were in all these different places. You were in Maine. You were in California, whatever. And I thought that was so cool to wake up every day in a truck, like in a truck somewhere else, so that when you got up, you could get up and you could pull back the window, the curtains on the window, and instead of seeing the backyard that I was used to as a kid, I could see the Rocky Mountains, or I could see the plains of Nebraska. One of my most fondest memories since I came back out here about 3 years ago was waking up and pulling back the curtain up front and looking at a field in Twin Falls, like not Twin Falls, Idaho, but in Idaho. And, I romanticized it quite a bit. And so when it finally came time for me to try to be a trucker the first time, I was heartbroken when it didn't work. And it didn't work because my family needed me to go do stuff, But, I romanticized it then, and I still romanticize it a little bit today. And my friend, I was on the phone with a friend, and I was talking about that, and he just found it odd that people would romanticize this job. What we deal with as far as the DOT is concerned, what we deal with as far as shippers and receivers is concerned, the anxiety about trying to find a parking spot, the anxiety about whether or not that check engine light that pops up on your truck is going to get you home first before you got to turn it in, or if you're going to get stranded in the middle of nowhere and have to pay $1,000 for a tow. Just all these different things, tires blowing and the possibility of wrecks and all this other stuff, People romanticize this job. And there's a part of me that wants to tell them don't do it. I want to be like that guy at the subway. And I want to say, don't do it. Don't come out here. If I see you out here, I'm going to kick your ass. But to this day, when I'm at home, about a week is what I can stand. About a week into it, and I'm ready to go again. And my friend asked me, he said, do you still romanticize the job? And I thought about it for a little while, and I said, I do. There's a part of me that wants to tell you don't come out here and do this because of all the things I listed, the DOT and the anxiety and the the anxiety of trying to find parking spots and maintenance and trying to find a load, and is it the right load? Could you do better? Could you do worse? Is the deadhead too far? Is it too, short or whatever? And for me, it's a little different than than a company driver. Company drivers just go, hey, just go get that load. It'll be fine, and they go get the load. They don't have to really worry about that. And if something goes wrong, the company takes care of it, right? But at the same time, I still romanticize being out here on the road. And, I pulled up some videos, and I'm going to run them probably right here. And I'm going to say, you see so much of this country. I have seen parts of this country that I want to go back and visit, that I want to go see again, and I don't want to be, one of the things about being in a truck when you go through those parts of the country is you can't stop, there's so many places you can't stop. There's only so many places that are made for trucks to fit, and there are places you just can't stop, but there's Virginia is gorgeous, and the Alleghenies in Pennsylvania is gorgeous, and Illinois is gorgeous, and Colorado is gorgeous, and Wyoming in its way is of all the states, I don't think it's the best one, but it's in its way, it's got its charm, which basically means I don't really like Wyoming, but it's too brown. I'm just gonna say it. There are parts of New Mexico that are boring as hell, and they're gorgeous to me. And it's just like, I still want to pinch myself from time to time when I'm out here, and because I get to see that. I get to see, you know, parts of this country that nobody else is ever going to see. You know, you go south of Moab, nobody's going to see that. It's fantastic. Between Moab and Monticello, Utah is like one of the best drives you could ever take in this country. And so many people are not going to see that because they're going to fly to Moab. They're going to rent a Jeep. They're going to tool around somewhere in Moab, like real close to Moab, but they're not going to go to Monticello 30 miles away or 40 miles away. Because that's not the idea. You know? And that's a fantastic drive. You know, going north of Moab is certainly a trip. You know, US 6 going north off of the 70 is a fantastic drive all the way to Salt Lake City. Glenwood Canyon in Colorado is phenomenal. Virgin River Canyon and I wish I had video of all this stuff. Virgin River Canyon in Arizona. So many great trips. You know, so many great pieces of scenery. And I get to see it. And so, I guess the discussion becomes, should you romanticize this job? And the answer to me is a little bit. You know, the reality is you have to understand that it comes with these cons. You know, these cons, the all the things I've listed before. You know, dealing with the DOT and anxiety about finding spots and shippers and receivers and tires and maintenance and all these things. You got to remember that. But the pluses are like Moab and Colorado and, you know, Illinois and Nebraska and Kansas and, you know, all of these places that you could sit at home and look at on YouTube or look at pictures on Google, or you can go see it, you know? And there are times when you're going to have the opportunity to get out of the truck and go explore the city that you're in, you know? If you do it right, you can get out of the truck. You can set it up to where you can get out of the truck and go do something, you know? So, romanticize the hell out of it, you know? If it's what you want to do, romanticize the hell out of it. And just remember that this stuff, the cons, are part of that romanticism. That you're going to get into dealing with these things, and they're going to be just a part of what you have to deal with. But there's a romanticism to having to deal with those things. So, and that's what makes trucking. So, I don't think I can say anything else about it. And I would hope that you enjoyed this video. And I know it's an odd video or whatever, but you know, I thought it was worth talking about. So, anyway, that's it. You guys know the drill. Keep your shiny side up. I will see you down the road.